All right, here we are with the Moneymaker hand, which is a one of their top five shady hands that I play. And before this hand starts, it's important to note that the floor manager Ben, who's working that night, anytime he was working and I was playing on the stream, we had a what was called the hand of the night. And prior to the game with Moneymaker in the game, and here pay attention to Jeff Bosky here with the 10-4 in seat 1, and then seat 3, who just folded, also has a 4. We'll get to that later. But that night with Chris in the game, he had come up to me and said, "You need to moneymaker with the moneymaker." And took me took me a few seconds to realize what that was, but it was, hey, the 4-5 hand where he won the 2003 main event. That's the hand of the night. So with that in mind, you can see here I had crazy thing. I straddled thinking about this, multiple times over the course of the night. I actually straddle here to 45. And so I'm literally thinking about the hand of the night before I even get this hand. So the straddle to 45 is significant because when I see two people call a raise and a re-raise from, coincidentally, Chris, I've got the 4-5 and I am in somewhat agony here. Like, what am I supposed to do? Two colors behind. Naga's got 2,500 ish, and so if he goes all in over the top of Chris, Chris is likely calling or going all in himself, and then now I'm stuck with, I have to be prepared here to call all of Chris's stack, which was over 3,000. So I'm hoping, hey, if I call here, nobody raises, maybe we can see, flop for the 660 more that I need to put in. But if I do that, I've got to decide, am I willing to put in, the 3,000 total to play this hand for the sake of a story, for entertainment. And I just never turn down an opportunity to tell a story, especially with the coincidences of the 4-5 being the hand of the night. Chris is the aggressor here, who put in the 3-bet. And I decide ultimately here to call, hoping that I can just see a flop and get off this hand for only the 660 more. But again, I've decided to go with it, and it was definitely agonizing during this time. Ultimately, Naga here decides to put it in. So I already know what's going to happen here. He goes all in. Chris ends up, yep. And I had already made up my mind, so I said I call immediately. As soon as Chris was in, I called right away because I already decided I was gonna have some fun with this hand. So here we are with the 4-5, praying and hoping. While we're waiting, the pause here is deciding to run it twice. We run the board twice, which is significant in another way because I've already made up my mind. Just let me win. Just let me win one of these boards, and and be able to actually tell this story without it being agonizing down the road. And I mean, it's I've just put in what, 3 4,000 4,000 with the 4 or 5 here. Uh, it's 4,000. I'm up at the time in this stream, uh, a little over 5,000. So that was one thing that I was thinking about too. Like I'm up. I'm kind of free rolling here with this. Either I get lucky and everyone talks about it, or I'm still up for the night. I mean, I've made way worse decisions with 3, 4 thousand in my lifetime. Uh, not just on a poker table, but other gambling excursions. So in the end, it's 4,000 money makers in the game, the story behind it, and here we go with the first board. I'm actually yelling for a 6 here, and also, I mean, you can see, people have their phones, and there's video running. By the time we get to the second board, some people start, coming over to the table to see what we're hooting and hollering about. And when I hit the 5 on the turn, there's a little bit of excitement, and I end up winning the second board. Now, they each have ace king. Now, what's supposed to happen here is I'm supposed to get half of the pot and make a profit, which would end up being 15, 1600, and then they get quartered and take a small loss. Now, again, for the sake of getting to the next hand, both Naga and Chris are good friends of mine. Uh, I just played a hand that I would not normally play if not for the circumstances prior. So I just tell them, look, just take your money back. Don't worry about it. We'll just chop it 3 ways and get to the next hand, so we don't have to, take too much time figuring this out. And that's just how I am. I'm not. I'm obviously there to make money, but that's not the only reason I'm there. Like I want to be laughing, having a good time, having something to be able to tell a story later. This is why I play. So we're still, while we're waiting here, actually, other players at the table are arguing with me, like, Mike, no, this is not a everyone get their money back pot. You get half of the pot. You make money in this hand. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? And I said, yes, I'm aware of that. I just this is just what I want to do. So everyone take your money back. Let's go. Naga and Chris were very happy about that, and it's something that we talked about and laughed about. Not just while this was going on and other people were watching and wanting to know what was going on over there, but this is a hand that we talked about for a long time afterwards, and Ben certainly liked it. This was actually the fifth hand in a row that I had, you know, didn't lose with the hand of the night. I had won 4 in a row previously, and this was the fifth one where he had given me a hand. I did whatever I needed to do to see the flop, and I won every time with it. Of course, this one I broke even with. And again, if if I'm if I'm some greedy cheater like they claim, and in this situation this happens, why wouldn't I just take half the pot, take my 15, $1,600, whatever it is, and take the money? That's what I'm supposedly there for. Like me calling in this situation, I'm I'm essentially praying to break even. Like the odds of me winning both boards is extremely small, probably under 5%. So the fact that I call here and I'm just essentially calling to break even, I think that should speak some volumes as to my intentions and what really happened in this hand, and that the narratives that are being spun regarding this hand out there are definitely incorrect. And if you remember right, I had pointed to seats 1 and seat 3 both having a 4. I mean, if I can see the cards like they say, I would know 2 4s are folded. I have 4 outs if none of them have an overpair. Like I'm not playing this hand based on math or um, anything like that. I'm playing it strictly for the sake of the story, for entertainment purposes, and that's it. Like what they have in their hands, it's not even. it hardly crosses my mind because I know I'm beat. There's obviously they're not going to have a hand worse than that. So like what they have doesn't matter. It's all about hoping to get lucky and being able to have that story to tell. So that's the moneymaker hand.
It's the power. What was it? The power of Postle thinking.
Power of Postle thinking. You've entered the Postle zone. And that's he just started slapping this button and he was like, F it, I call. Yikes. Yeah, the pot size was a little over 11,000. So he got half of that. And then the ace kings chopped the other half. So Postle got what, like 5.5, 5.6,
yeah,
or a little bit more. And they got 2 point whatever.
I've never seen a hand played like that in my life by somebody who's a winning player.
The up-close reaction.
Oh. Poker Traveler sticking it in with 5-4 suited.
Just makes the call.
And that it's actually very much the right play in this situation, given that both players have ace-king. I mean, he couldn't know that.
Oh, my.